I'm not down for male aggression on the touchline. I'm not. I don't think it's okay to behave like that.
You're serious? Chelsea women's team manager Emma Hayes caused a bit of a stir this weekend with her push and subsequent comments about Arsenal's manager Jonas Eidevall after they lost in the Conti Cup final 1-0. It's a double standard, it's hypocrisy, and though I admire Emma Hayes very much as a coach, I think she is fantastic, she has brought a lot of success to Chelsea, this was not a good look. So let's just get into what happened and what actually led to all of this drama. I'm Sebastian North, welcome to Campfire Football. Comically, this whole entire drama began because of a disagreement between using a single ball or the multi-ball system. Here is Arsenal manager Jonas Eidevall explaining that.
Before the game, we had a discussion between the clubs if we were playing with one ball and multi-ball, and we wanted to play with multi-ball, they wanted to play with one ball. And then if the clubs can't agree, then you play with only one ball.
So the match was 0-0 through the 90 minutes. It went to extra time. Arsenal scored in the 118th minute through Stina Blackstenius, and then Chelsea were in urgency mode. The ball goes out near midfield, Chelsea have a throw-in, and Erin Cuthbert grabs the first ball she sees and throws it on the pitch. And you can see Jonas Eidevall here remonstrating and saying, hey, they're not allowed to do that. It's totally normal, and from his perspective, absolutely the right thing to do when you're trying to protect the lead at the very end of extra time. This halted the play, which is exactly what Arsenal needed and what Chelsea didn't want, and it pissed them off.
And then of course, wanted to take a quick throw-in with not the ball that was in play, and I just reminded them of the rules that we had decided on.
Now, this situation here is what seemed to prompt Emma Hayes to make the comments she did. So let's listen to her words in their full glory.
Listen, I think there's a way to conduct yourself on the touchline. I really do. And I think that is absolutely essential. We role model in the right way. But I'm not down for male aggression on the touchline. I'm not. And fronting up with players, for me, that's unacceptable. And yeah, I was disappointed, and I told Jonas that. I don't think it's okay to behave like that. He got a yellow card, and in fact, he probably should have been sent off. I totally accept he's a winner and he wants to win, but his behaviour on the touchline wasn't acceptable.
All right, allow me to shoot this down in flames. So first she says that they need to role model and have good behavior on the sidelines, and that she's not down with male aggression. This is after she has walked up to him and pushed him out of the way. Come on though, you gotta love his reaction, his face here. It's just great. Then she talks about squaring up and facing up to players and how that's just unacceptable and not something you should do. But if you look at it again, Eidevall is just remonstrating about the use of a different ball, and though he does exit his technical area, he doesn't go in the direction of any Chelsea players. It's actually Erin Cuthbert who storms up in his direction. Even the Guardian's Women's Football Weekly podcast saw it the same way I do.
I found the whole thing post-match quite distasteful from Emma in particular, and she was caught out a little bit, right? Because she said I didn't like him squaring up to Erin Cuthbert, and he didn't. Erin approached him, and they don't get that close at any point, so I'm a little bit baffled by that.
I mean, that was a pleasant surprise for me because an enormous amount of their articles are just about like sexism and misogyny in football. Props to them for their honesty here. So Emma went on to say that Eidevall was actually booked and should have been sent off. Like, what did he do that should have him ejected from the touchline? Seriously. Anyway, then Eidevall responded to this brilliantly, in my opinion. Here's what he said. I think that saying that male aggression is very irresponsible way of labeling the behavior I had. People can listen to what I'm saying and see what I'm doing. It's nothing out of order or out of the ordinary. I'm actually happy with the way I conducted myself, and others need to look at themselves in the mirror and see if they're happy with themselves.
The use of the phrase male aggression, I think, is really dangerous, because I think it's wrong to equate what took place in that game and what we know of Jonas with a sort of generalised aggressiveness towards women. I think that's not fair and not right to do, and I think he was right to, kind of take umbrage at that label being put on him.
Then you had Lucy Zelich of the Daily Mail come out with this post on X. Appalling behavior from Hayes here. The FA should give her a retrospective ban without question. If the roles were reversed and Eidevall pushed her, the headlines would be vastly different. We can't preach from one hymn book and walk to the beat of a totally different drum. She is absolutely right. If Eidevall had done what Hayes did at the end of the match, we all know how this would have gone down. He would have been absolutely pilloried in the press. He probably would have been sacked. I mean, it would have been a mess. You'd have had like every feminist writer on the planet coming out and weighing in on the situation, even if they know nothing about football. Now, let me be clear. I am not asking for that to happen to Emma Hayes because, well, look at Eidevall's face. I mean, this is how threatened he is. Now, look, we love the passion and emotion of the game. We love it when managers are really expressive. Think back to Wenger versus Mourinho. That was fantastic. And then even better, the epic handshake between Tuchel and Conte. Don't get me wrong, I immediately knew that there was a double standard in the situation, but I didn't really care. It was the fact that she brought up the whole male aggression thing that was really beyond the pale to me. And it kind of makes me wonder, should men even really be managing in the women's game? Everything that exists around this is just a minefield for a man. There are pitfalls all over the place. I mean, this is one example, but then also you take a look at Leicester manager Willie Kirk, who recently got sacked because he had a relationship with a player. Now, let me be clear, he shouldn't do that. If you are in a position of power, you should not date someone beneath you in the same organization. That's just like normal. And the thing is, I'm sure there's a lot of really well-intentioned men who walk into this and just mess up. And at the same time, in my opinion, it would be far better for the women's game to sort of grow on its own with women managers, female coaches, referees, you name it. I just think that it's a little bit precarious for guys, and it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Because even if Eidevall does well as a manager, it's not like some Premier League team is going to be like, ooh, you did well there, come on over. Now, we'll see what happens with Emma Hayes. She might get a ban, and it's also going to be interesting to see how she handles being asked about this in her next press conference. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Do you think men should be coaching in the women's game? Do you think that makes any sense? Either way, thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you think. This is Campfire Football. Take it easy.